My name is Julian, and this is the story I was never meant to live. Maybe by writing it down I can exorcise the memories that haunt me every night, though I doubt I will ever sleep in peace again. It all started with a trip. Nothing out of the ordinary. Just a group of friends looking for adventure in a forgotten corner of Mexico. Mateo, one of my best friends, had told us about a cabin he had inherited from his grandfather. It was deep in a rural area, surrounded by a dense, humid forest, accessible only through a rough dirt road. There was no phone signal, no electricity, none of the modern comforts. Exactly what we needed to disconnect for a few days. Diego and Valeria joined us. Diego was always the joker, the one who could laugh at anything. Valeria was different. She had a way of looking at you that seemed to pierce through, as if she knew more than she let on. I liked her, and I think deep down, she knew it. This trip was my chance to get closer to her, to know her outside the chaos of the city. The journey was long. The highway narrowed until it finally disappeared, leaving us on a dirt path full of potholes, flanked by tall, twisted trees. Fog began to appear out of nowhere, seeping between the trunks, wrapping around us slowly. No one spoke during the last few minutes before arriving. When I saw the cabin, something inside me shuddered. It was old, older than I had imagined, made of dark wood with dust-covered windows. The roof slanted slightly to one side as if it was tired of standing. There was something about it that didn't fit with the landscape, as if it didn't entirely belong to this world. We got out of the car and Mateo took out the key. When he opened the door, a smell of damp wood and age hit us. Inside, there, was a living room with dusty armchairs and a stone fireplace. To the side, an old kitchen with worn-out wooden furniture and a table scarred by time. Everything was exactly as his grandfather had left it. We stepped outside to explore the surroundings. That was when we saw the first signs that something was wrong. In the garden, stones were arranged in strange patterns, forming circles with symbols none of us recognized. Near the entrance, a statue of the Virgin Mary was half buried in the dark soil, upside down. Valeria frowned, uneasy. "Must be some joke from the villagers," she said, though her voice lacked conviction. Then, Mateo pointed towards the forest. Among the mist, we saw what looked like a hand, white, skeletal, rising between the trees, beckoning us with slow, unnatural movements. None of us dared to approach and decided to ignore maybe a bird. Night fell fast. We barricaded ourselves inside the cabin and lit candles. We tried to talk about other things, to distract ourselves with stories and games, but the feeling of being watched was impossible to ignore. The first sign that we weren't alone came at midnight. A low murmur filled the air like hundreds of voices whispering in unison. Then a knock on the window. Something was scratching the glass. My heart pounded as I approached and peered outside. And then I saw them. Beyond the trees, a crowd emerged from the mist. Men and women dressed in tattered clothes, their faces obscured by shadows, danced in circles and chanted guttural hymns. Then a scream cut through the air like a blade. "We need to leave," Mateo whispered, trembling. But it was too late. The cabin doors burst open all at once. A freezing wind carried the stench of rotting flesh and damp earth. And then, from the darkness of the forest, something massive approached. It was a monstrous creature, a nightmare, given form. Its skeletal body was wrapped in torn flesh, exposing red, pulsating muscles. Its head was a deer skull with twisted horns and empty black eyes that reflected nothingness. It was at least 10 feet tall and moved with an inhuman speed. "Run!" Valeria screamed, but the monster was already upon her. With a single motion, its claws tore through her chest, lifting her off the ground as if she weighed nothing. Valeria let out a choking gurgle before the creature ripped her apart effortlessly. Blood sprayed across the walls, the ceiling, our faces. The chanting intensified as if her sacrifice was part of a ritual, but something went wrong. The monster froze. Its jaw opened in a silent scream, and its hollow eyes turned to the crowd. The air thickened. The fog swirled violently around it. The hool. Followers tried to flee, but it was too late. The beast lunged at them, slaughtering them in blind fury. Bodies were torn apart, entrails scattered across the damp grass. Some ran into the forest, but the creature caught them effortlessly, dragging them into the darkness. We ran without looking back. We pushed through the mist, ignoring the branches that scratched our skin, refusing to think about Valeria. We ran until the sunrise painted the horizon red. When we reached the village, no one believed us. The elders said the cabin had burned down years ago. Nothing remained there. Nothing except the distant echo of a beast still roaming the forest, searching for new sacrifices. That was our last trip to Mexico. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a thumbs up. Tell the comments what story you'd like us to narrate next, or send us yours if you dare. But be careful, and some stories are better left untold. Sleep well, if you can.